Marilyn is a divine link for Adironnda and the Council of Light. And admittedly, she teaches people how to be happy every day. So guys, you're going to have to get ready because she is just a little spark plug of delight, and you're going to have a great time, I know, because for nearly 2 decades, she has delivered Adironda's message of unconditional love to global audiences of tens of thousands of people. With a mix of candid humor and Midwest straight talk, she provides actionable steps for the esoteric concepts that she shares. Marilyn communicates a unique blend of inspiration and intuitive insight to empower you becoming your authentic self. She can wield an 18-inch selenite sword of light to activate an entire audience of willing participants. Now that is a feat to see. And Marilyn, I don't know if you brought that sword or not, but I am sure that you can wield an audience at any time with or without a sword. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheila, for having me on. It's exciting. It's powerful. I was just listening to Gosha, and you have the most interesting speakers on. I love what you do. You are living the life. You are, as many of your speakers have said, people come in as a walk-in with a burning desire to make a difference. And so many times they say they don't know what to do or how to do it. You are doing it. You are doing it. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I am so excited to hear what you have to offer us today. So I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And it's really all about, you can talk all you want about the galactics and going into other dimensional realms and who you are and how you are and how many different pods you've experienced, or what the immersion means, or the hitchhikers, or all of those things. Mm-hmm. I mean, thank you, God, that all of the speakers several of the speakers have really defined what a walk-in is and how it works, because everybody's idea is just a little bit different, but it's also related and connected to the same. So all of that energy and all of that information as it's comes in with such an effective way to provide answers for everyone. This may resonate, that may not. Something else is going to resonate, and it's like, oh, the light bulb goes on, and you get it. You understand what is happening. So what I would like to talk about today is, basically walk-ins for evolution. I'm going to turn you can tell this is live because I just turned my little heater off because it's a little cold here in Missouri right now. But the walk-ins for evolution, that was an old organization in the 90s, but the phrase walk-ins for evolution has really stuck with me during, the last 20 to 30 years. I walked in 1993, had no idea what had happened, didn't know anything about walk-ins, had never heard of the term. I was deacon in the Christian church. I was selling advertising in a country western radio station. And all of a sudden I was a different person. And it was shocking. It was powerful. I woke up to that fact about 2.5, 3 years later and set myself on the spiritual path. And as a result, as you say, Adironnda, who's a multidimensional being, I channel and have channeled since 1999. And we do wield selenite swords. I don't have my selenite sword in my office, but if that's necessary, I can certainly go get it. And it is 18 inches long. And when I channel, there's 12 or more that are on the council that I channel. And one of them has been Sekhmet, who's the goddess of destruction and the goddess of creation. And when we were in Egypt, we've always realized that there was another energy that came in when I wield the selenite swords, because physically, I do things that I cannot do physically. And Sekhmet, when we were in Egypt in, I think 2017 was the first time I was in Egypt, we realized that it was indeed Sekhmet that was wielding the selenite swords. And it is a pretty wild feat to see, for sure. We're actually having a selenite sword party in December, so that will be cool. Anyway, the thing that I would really like to share, now that you have a wonderful definition of what walk-ins are, now that you understand that you carry, as a walk-in, you carry an advanced frequency. You carry a dimensional realm and a dimensional understanding of this world that you really didn't have before. And I know there's lots of movies that are attempting to describe that energy and connect with that energy. So far, I don't think anyone's really coined it well. So as a walk-in, your biggest challenge in the beginning, as you know, is to integrate, is to realize that you get the opportunity to complete the circuitry, complete the contracts of the walk out, and fully embrace the contracts and energy of the walk in, which is the same soul, more advanced, coming back. I mean, when I walked in, I used to be a profound writer before I walked in. After I walked in, my writing is like a third grader. You know, I could no longer write in English. I have always said, I joked that English is my second language because my first language is galactic, which is actually true. And with that came that almost that frustration of, why did this happen? And how did this happen? And what's the point? And where am I from? And who am I? And who am I supposed to be? And if that's not the case, then what is my destiny? And there were so many questions that I had in the beginning that it really started developing into what I've called the 4 stages of consciousness. You know, the first stage of consciousness being that victimhood, that why did this happen? What's going on? How do I survive? You know, because in the 90s, when I walked in, there was not a lot of information that was out there. There were a few support groups. There were a lot of really odd things happening to me and others. And it was about the evolution of our time. And as we have moved through, as you know, with your wonderful book, Walk-Ins, the Cosmology of the Soul, that really clarified things in a much better way that took the victimhood out of the walk-in experience. And it moved it directly into the second phase of consciousness, really, which is the acknowledgement that you have the ability to affect the world around you, that your intention, your creation, your connection, your communication, if you would, has that capability to really have an effect of your relationships, have an effect of your friendships, have an effect on really most anyone in your immediate world. And life stops happening to you, as in the first phase, and life, you realize that life is happening, radiating beyond you, radiating around you. You know, I was told after I started channeling, Adironnda came in and said to drink out of cobalt blue bottles. That's what this is. And on the back, we've got it engraved with shift in the world around you shifts. And that's really the primary point, is to shift your world and step into your abilities, step into all that you are, step into that frequency that is now presently radiating in this world from the future, to assist, to be in that connection. And as you are in that connection, you sort of through integration. And in the olden days, I call the olden days anything but, before 2006 or 7, actually, that you had to really integrate for about 8 years as a walk-in, which is really a long time, from the time you realize you're a walk-in until the time that you are integrated in standing and stepping into your abilities. Now, from 2008, 2009 on, it's like immediate. Thank you, God. Thank you. Because a walk-in can easily hit the ground running. And you've seen evidence with that with several of your speakers. And a walk-in has the ability, as Vivian Chauvet is, to project her Arcturian self, project it through to the human experience. That you don't have to, mess with the human form and the body and all of that. I remember when I first walked in and woke up and realized, couldn't you have chosen a little different body? I mean, come on. But that goes back to that victim stage. But then when you move through the victim stage, that's the stage 1. Stage 2, the realization that you have new skills, new abilities, new talents that you get the opportunity to develop, and then you expand those beyond your physical self. That's when you move into the 3rd stage of being a walk-in, or even the 3rd stage of consciousness. My definition of consciousness is really being aware that you're aware. And I know that's a little redundant, but that's what I see. And the 3rd stage is the realization that you are a new energy on this planet, maybe, and that you can indeed, life happens through you from other realms, and that you have the capability to project yourself. You have the capability to transport yourself. You have the capability to bilocate. You have the capability to remotely view or connect with energies that are beyond your physical reality, or energies that are physically on this planet, but not in your physical space, and be able to connect with them. And with that comes a tremendous amount of responsibility. And that's where the evolution comes from, is to evolve and realize that as you are connecting, as you are expanding, as you are growing, as you are affecting your world, you also, in your sphere of influence, affecting a minimum of 200 people, because that's what science says is your sphere of influence, is you have 200 friends and people that you experience. And I think I have 200 friends. Wow. But you do. And those people are what you're experiencing. And because you've realized that life is happening through you, not to you or from you, but through you, from the higher sources that you as a walk-in have brought in, that's when it gets really exciting. That's when you realize that in this dimensional realm that we're living here on Earth, we are actually touching lives that they can sense them on other sides of this planet. We are not limited by the programming of the people of this planet. We are not limited by the effectiveness or ineffectiveness of the people that live on this planet, because we bring with us the memories, or it may not be a conscious memory, the subconscious memory. We bring with us those subconscious memories, that cellular programming from other realms of existences. And that's really the cool part, because that's when life is happening through you. And you realize that that this country, this world, this planet has some opportunities that we as walk-ins can help. And that is really ultimately why we are here. I mean, we all as walk-ins have chosen to be here as a part of our soul contract, as a part of our agreement. I honestly don't believe any walk-in has come here without that agreement. And now sometimes after they get here, they think, "Ay vey, what the heck have I done?" I want to go there. But because Earth is a little denser vibration than where you have been. But yet you chose to come here. You volunteered to help this planet evolve. And this planet, it's my information that all the galaxies, all the universes are watching this planet, Earth, because it is transforming its dimensional realm, that it is the whole planet itself is shifting dimensions, not just a few people on the planet. Now, the walk-ins, I was listening to the questions before, and someone asked, how many walk-ins are there on the world? It's like, who knows that answer? But according to my information, there's now 27% of the world's population that are what I would call light workers, people that understand that they have awakened from something that would be considered, not dark entities or anything, but asleep, as we are awakening to this new realm of existence, and the fact that life, our life, and the life of our planet, or the life of our galaxies, depending on where you're from, is happening as a result of what we are choosing to focus on, what we are choosing to experience. I believe that all walk-ins come to this planet with a burning desire to make a difference, with a burning desire to be that difference, to hold that energy and to connect with that energy. And as that energy is in connection, you as a walk-in, or as maybe a walk-in, get the opportunity to see how you can be of service to this planet that you've chosen to come to. And that brings us to the fourth stage of the awakened walk-in. The acknowledged walk-in is, again, not so much about where you're from or what you're doing, although that's important. What that aspect is, it's really about, what are you doing now? Well, I mean, Sheila is doing, umpteen different things to be of service to this planet. I couldn't even list them on a sheet of paper, I don't think. But and that's really not that everyone that's a walk-in has to do that many things. But I believe everyone that is a walk-in gets the opportunity to say, okay, so I'm here. I know I'm here. I can connect with other dimensional realms. I can connect with my home planet if that's necessary. But I am choosing to help the people of this planet in service. And that's the fourth stage, is to be in service. And that is really what the truly awakened walk-in is here for, is to hold that energy, hold that frequency, realize their destiny, the planet that I'm from, our vocal cords can't even say it. It's like, that doesn't help me. To not be able to know, the the planet where I'm from, I was told once that they didn't have like appendages or hands or feet. They were kind of like these bubble people that moved around, and they liked the human hands and they kind of prototyped them or something. I don't know. But, it's like all of that outer realm still comes back to, what are you doing here on this planet? How can one person be of service? How can one person provide a group of people to be of service? And it doesn't matter how small or how large your service is. People like Sheila, people like myself, and people like several of the speakers on this conference are making a difference on a global scale, in addition to a galactic scale. But on a global scale, they have a passion, they have a mission for educating people and talking about the things that you don't talk about, and understanding the feelings and the ideas and the opportunities that we have to be here on Earth, and to know that sometimes when you have the realization that you're here on Earth and you think, oh my goodness, what the heck have I committed to? It's very easy to fall into almost a state of depression and fall into a spiral of not dark energy or entity, but darkness or sadness, and missing your advanced life. I mean, in my advanced life, we didn't even need language. We didn't need to write things down because we all communicated telepathically. We still can. And that's what we're coming to. So if you feel as a walk-in that you are feeling lost or sad, or that you miss your home planet, you miss your home planet like you miss your family member that has passed over to the other side of the veil. They're still there, and you can still communicate with them. So communicate with your home planet, but realize, even if you communicate with your home planet, your home galaxy, wherever it may be, you're still here on Earth. This is not a vacation spot. This is like a how they used to have, well, maybe they still do, I don't know, youth groups from churches go out to other countries and do mission work. A friend of mine has a group called the Power of One, and she would go into Africa and build a building for the orphanages that were there. That's being of service. And that was her mission. And that now what you get the opportunity to do is to realize what your mission is. And that mission that you have is directly related to what makes you happy. It's directly related to what you love and what you love experiencing and doing. It's not related to some mission, some task, or some job that you don't love. And I think that's where we as walk-ins get the opportunity to realize that if we think that our mission is about something that we don't love, then we're stuck back in the integration and the victim stage. Instead, it's really about what you're really, really good at, and what you're good at and what you love experiencing. And to know that your mission as a walk-in, or as even a friend of a walk-in, is directly related to that. It's directly related to that experience. And, years ago, 2008, 2009, it's been my information that there was a shift globally amongst walk-ins around 1980, 5 in 1987 with the convergence, the harmonic convergence, and sort of a spiritual awakening to new things. Then there was another awakening time period around 1996. Another one happened around 2008, 2009, and that's carried us into now. Of course, on 2012, everything shifted, and what was previously known to us is now not effective. But our world as we know it before 2012 is different than the world that we know now. Now, we know that we can communicate telepathically, that we can have the intention that the world happens through us from this higher source that we are connected to. And that is indeed a part of your mission. So whatever you choose to do as a part of your mission, that is the key, is that you are happy. Happiness is a choice. Everyone gets up every morning and has the choice as to whether to be happy or not to be happy. So I choose happiness. It may seem like the world may be falling apart around me. I mean, I chose happiness on October 7th when I was taking a group to Israel on November 22nd and October 2nd, how the world in Israel fell apart. I still had to choose the happiness on that day. Yes, I was sad for my friends that I lost on that day. I was sad for my friends that are still in Israel or in Palestine. I've got friends on both sides that are having a difficult time in protection for their family. So how can I, living in Branson, Missouri, as a walk-in, affect, as a part of my mission, that energy in Israel and Palestine and amongst Hamas, or in Russia and Ukraine? How can, and that's what we have to ask ourselves as walk-ins, is how can I, by living wherever I am, by living my dream, by living my world, by living my existence, serve the human population of this planet. And by serving the human population of this planet, then we serve the planet itself. The planet itself is going through an evolutionary time period as well. And we, as humans, can either help it or we can hinder it. And that's where you and I get the opportunity to say, how can I help? You know, we get those messages in the most odd ways sometimes. I was watching a television show on Netflix called New Amsterdam. And I mean, it was the hospital show, and I like doctor shows, and it wasn't that well written or anything else. But the phrase that stuck with me was, how can I help? How can I help this planet? How can I help the people that I have direct influence on? So if I have a direct influence on at least 200 people, then, and by me shifting, then they shift, and then they have a direct influence on 200 people, and then they have a direct influence on, you get my point here. It's like this opportunity of service moves very quickly throughout the planet. That's why in the past few years, we've gone from 24% light workers, or as Adironnda calls us, light plurkers. Play plus work equals plurk, because nobody really likes to work, but they like to play. And so you move the two together and plurk. How can we? That's how, because it moved, when we started off in 1999, I think they said there was 21% light workers on the planet, light plurkers on the planet. And in 2020, there was probably 23% light workers on the planet. Now there's 27% light workers on the planet. So we've moved in the past 3 years, 3% of the world's population have awakened to their own destiny of service. That's how the world is changing, is by you and me and Sheila and Gosha's and the Vivians and the Kens and all of the other people that are out there living their mission. How are we providing conscious, awakened information? I was sitting the other day in a group of friends, and these were people that were pretty awake, and that they really experience light in their daily lives. And we had gone to see a live performance of a rock opera, and the first 20 or 30 minutes after we saw it, most of the people that I was listening to were complaining about the writer, about the producer, about they did this and they did that, and if they should have done this and they could have done that. And then all of a sudden it was like the whole carload of people took a deep breath and said, oh, that's how we're a part of the problem. That's how the world is not shifting, because we're complaining about it. Excuse me. And in that avenue of complaining, in that we're part of the problem. That's what Adironnda has always said, is we become a part of the problem when you complain about something and don't take any action. We become a part of the solution when you look for the divine solutions. We provide I've been teaching a holographic healing class all morning long, and it's so cool. But I've been talking since 9 o'clock this morning. We provide divine solutions. My business partner and I, through Adironnda and Company, that's my division of our company. She has her division, Solopreneur Productions, SOULOPRENEUR Productions. I have Adironnda and Company. We produce a spiritual happy hour on the first and last Sunday of the month. And then in 2024, it will be every Sunday. And when we produce that, a couple of weeks ago, we had one about imagine divine solutions. And that's what the difference is in our own evolution, as putting it in our intention, knowing that the world happens through us, that with our intention, that the leaders of our planet, the leaders of our country, the leaders of our governments will have divine solutions, and the ones that do not have the divine solutions have a lower vibration. Instead of complaining about them, that we hold the intention that they simply get a better opportunity to maybe go somewhere else and bring in the people that do have those divine solutions. And if everything is intention and everything is energy, then it can be so. Then another one of the spiritual happy hours was what happens when divine order doesn't really feel so divine. We've all experienced that. We know it's divine order, but at the moment it's kind of stinky. It doesn't feel good. So we, as a walk-in, get the opportunity to live the difference. We, as a walk-in, get the opportunity to expand our own service and ability. And as we expand that connective ability, our world is changing. Our galaxy is changing. Our universe is changing. Our solar system is changing. I mean, years and years ago, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, Adironnda said that we would be getting a new moon into our solar system for the first time. Me sitting back in the background going, what the heck are you talking about? Well, there's a new moon coming into our solar system. And it's coming in, it was identified in June. 23 years ago, Adironnda said that there will be a new breed of children coming in, not just indigos or crystallines, but a new breed of children that will not identify with gender, and that they will have a new energy to describe who they are without the definition of he and she. And eventually then they will, as in the double digit, which is today, I think it was on this double digit, they will evolve to the extent that eventually they will not need to procreate through the intimate act of sex, even though it's really fun. But that's not necessarily how we're going to be working. Well, that was predicted 23 years ago, and that's what's happening right now. I mean, I was with an 8-year-old the other day, and an 8-year-old, and we saw somebody that looked really interesting, and I had no idea if they were male or female. You couldn't really tell, because I'm in the old world of thinking that there should be an identification. And the little 8-year-old granddaughter walks up to them and says, "What's your pronoun?" And I thought, out of the mouths of babes, because that's where the world is. We, as humans, are evolving. We, as a species, are evolving. We, as walk-ins, are even evolving. It's happening. Integration, it no longer takes 8 years to integrate. It no longer takes that long. It's like, as Gosha said, you're almost coming in with the knowledge that that's what's happened. And in that frequency, how exciting is that? Can you tell I get excited? Because that energy that's coming in, that is expanding our job on this planet, is so wonderful. And it's so exciting to have the realization that in the old school of, even the old school of walk-ins, but the old school of humanity, that it's very ego-driven. It's, what can you do for me now? And keeping the drama all stirred up. The new frequency is love. The new frequency has moved beyond the first 3 stages of integration, the first 3 stages of consciousness, the first 3 stages of awareness that you are here to be the difference that you want to see on the planet, to the 4th stage, which is that of being of service, that of helping, that of being the Sheilas of the world, that of holding the conscious awakening network, so all humans can realize that they're all a channel, that all humans can realize that they can telecommunicate. All humans can realize that they can, through leaning into their own image of the light, can expand in that capacity and be the change that we are seeing in this world. And, sometimes it's really tough to see how this world is changing because, as I said in my last spiritual happy hour, sometimes if you're pardon the expression, it kind of sucks when divine order is in process and it doesn't feel really divine. and with that aspect, it's like, it's still divine order. It's still that place of order. And the world is awakening to that fact. You can see with, hopefully, I haven't looked at the news in a few days, that the unrest in Russia and Ukraine and Israel, Palestine with Hamas in the Middle East, that it's different than it was 20 or 30 years ago. In the past, the major countries would have gone in to the little countries and fought. Now they're not. They're not getting that deeply involved. And so, just hang on to the point that change is upon us. And you, as a walk-in, or as a friend of a walk-in, are a part of that change. So congratulate yourself that you made it through to this point in time and honor that. So thank you. I don't know if there's any questions or anything else,
Awesome.
Sheila. I kind of got on a bandwagon here.
That's awesome. Someone was asking why you're drinking out of the cobalt blue bottles.
Thank you. Thank you for asking. Adironnda in 1999, when they first came in, Adironnda is a council for 12 or more ascended masters and angels from the 17th dimension. They said that when you set the cobalt blue bottle using any water into a window where somewhere time the sunlight can pass through it, doesn't have to be all day, it can be for a few hours or a few minutes even. The light, and I've had a scientific engineer back me up on this, the light spectrum bends when it hits this colored glass of blue, cobalt blue, and it goes into the water, which increases the spectrum of the water, and it takes the lowest vibrational frequency, which is the red, and the highest vibrational frequency, which is indigo and violet, and it blends them together to raise the vibrational frequency of the water to the highest level possible. And that's what's happening scientifically. It also takes the chemical content out. And you may or may not be familiar with Dr. Emoto's work, Messages from the Water. He is a scientist that proved that the water actually responds to human emotion. And my thought was, well, if water responds to human emotion, so does everything else. And the body is, a lot of water. So that's what is the premise for holographic healing, one of the classes that I teach. And we actually engraved, you can't see it here very well. We engraved, this is joy on this bottle. We have joy, gratitude, abundance, and love. And since we had such a hard time finding glass cobalt blue bottles without drinking the wine first, we actually started buying the bottles wholesale and engraving them, and we sell them now on our website, Adironnda.com. So thanks for the question.
Awesome. And someone else says, you mentioned the holographic healing. Can you tell us more about that? What is it?
Absolutely. It's a course that we have. It's available on our website in our shop under programs, I believe. And it is it is based upon the intention that the human body responds to human emotion as well. And it is a healing technique that I've created, a 5-level certification course that is a wonderful, amazing course, and people are coming out with phenomenal responses from it. And it is based upon a visualization and the premise that everything is energy and intention is everything. And so we go and remote viewing, which is one of our innate abilities. So we teach people how to view or sense inside of the human form remotely, and then shift the spectrum or the physicality of the human form through intention and energy. Just an example, we had 2 people on our coaching call this morning as a volunteer. One had been diagnosed with, I can't say it right, GERD, gastroesophageal acid reflux in a huge form. I can say that, where she couldn't even lay down. That the acid reflux was so bad, and her esophagus was filled with scar tissue because she had this acid coming back up in her esophagus. And when I looked into her stomach, the sphincter, this was a month ago that we had our first session, the sphincter valve in between her stomach and her esophagus was not working. It was not opening and closing because the muscles had sort of given out for one reason or another. And, there's an emotional cause to every physical cause. So we were rebuilding that sphincter and re-elasticizing it so it would open and close. And today on the call, we realized that she went and had more tests done again after we had our first session, and that she's no longer at gastroesophageal reflux. She is at a non-invasive esophageal. So it got better. And now we're working through the neck to move it out completely. Another one that we had has had 14 surgeries on her back for scoliosis, and her pain level that she lived with every day was a 9, 10, or 11 on a scale of 1 to 10. I just can't imagine that every single day. And after working with her 2 or 3 times, and then today out on the call, her pain level was, her back is straightening out according to the x-rays, and her pain level was like a 3 and a 4, and all that is done through remote viewing, which is what I teach, remote sensing, which is also what I teach, because not everybody's a seer, not everybody's a sensor, not everybody's a hearer. So you get the opportunity to find out how you get your information, and then how to sense or see into the form, and then how to realign it in an effective way that's not going to deter or distract from another form of the body. I mean, we have great results. You can read more about it on our website, Adironnda.com. And it is under the programs. I teach a lot of classes. I teach the Channeler's Method, the Channeler's Academy, how to channel, and I teach holographic healing. And and all that is because, when I started down this path as a walk-in, I thought, what in the world am I here for? And okay, so if I'm a walk-in and I'm some advanced soul, you can hear my Midwestern mind here, this come in, what am I supposed to do? And they very clearly said that I have a way of sharing information with people that they can understand, and they can then put it to use in their own lives. So anyway, are there any other questions?
I think that's pretty amazing. One of the things that I would like is if you would share with people, I know you said you've had that class going on. If you could tell them a little bit about the channeling that you do with Adironnda.
I'd be happy to. Again, it was not a part of my reality or my belief system about being a channel. And then when Adironnda came in, they said that we would be taking channeling mainstream. Adironnda came in 1999, and they are a multidimensional being from the 17th dimension. And in the beginning, I didn't even know there were 17 dimensions. There's actually 144, possibly 152 dimensions that are going on simultaneously to this dimension. So it's no wonder we feel a little confused. Where are we in this realm of our dimensional frequency? But Adironnda is the spokesbeing for a council of archangels and ascended masters from this planet. Archangels, Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel. Metatron has come in. And then ascended masters, Master Yeshua or Jesus, which is why I've been to Israel 3 or 4 times. Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Chinese deity for love and compassion. Babaji, who comes into this planet and into a human form about every 150 years. Kuan Yin, Buddha, Lord Buddha, and Isis, or as she calls herself, Iset. And I found out that that's the Egyptian name for her, Iset. Sekhmet, Ra has come in, Elohim has come in, Saint Germain. Those are the kind of the regulars on the council. And then sometimes another guide or energy comes in. Sometimes they speak as a collective, and sometimes they speak independently. But it's been a fascinating experience, and I feel so honored to be able to connect with these energies. And when I channel, the energy in the room shifts when you're with us live. I'm assuming it still does on virtual reality, as Adironnda calls it, Zoom. It's well, you've been our guest, Sheila, on the Double Digit before, and it's so great to have that experience and to be quite honored by their presence. So thank you for asking.
Yes, very, very powerful. And I know that you're kind of back out doing some traveling as well. Do you have any major events coming up soon that people may want to come and participate in?
Well, I actually do. I teach an online channelers academy, which is teaching people how to channel, and the channelers method. The channelers academy has live interaction on Zoom, and the method does not. I teach a live 2-day course in person. The next one is coming up in April in Tampa, Florida, and it's not on our website yet. And the one after that is in October in Michigan, and it is how to channel even if you think you can't. And then everybody channels by the end of the day, into the second day. And I also have, I'm the 5th Wednesday speaker on Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon, his Healing Wednesday. And so that's cool. I've got the Double Digit going, which is online. And it's tonight, 11/11. We have another one coming up, 12/12. I have a Mount Ida, which is up on our website. We dig crystals. One of the largest crystal deposits in the world is in Mount Ida, Arkansas. This little minute of a town that is on a mountain, Mount Ida, and we go there every 2 years and we dig crystals. And well, we sit on the ground and talk to the ground, and the crystals seem to come to the surface and ask us to take them home. And so we do. And there's a lake there called Lake Ouachita, and the whole lake is built on a crystal bed. So when we swim in it, it's like we feel all of that healing power of the crystals. It's like swimming in really expensive bottled water. We do that in August. Then in October, and this is not up on our website yet, but you can email us at info@Adironnda, that's ADIRONNDA.com. I should put that in my, rename myself and put my website in my name there, Adironnda.com. That you can get on a waiting list to go to Greece. And Greece is about opening the oracle that is within. It's about connecting with your own guidance, utilizing the energy of the ancients when they transferred from multi-theistic gods to a monotheistic God. And it's about that realization that that energy is indeed within you, and how to accommodate that energy to come into your own life and how to use it then. So that's what I have going on next year. And then in 2025, we're hoping to return to Israel. It's going to be an interesting adventure. So thank you for asking. Yes, absolutely.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you. And I know you had your class this morning. You've got a production tonight. You took your afternoon to come and be with us. I know you're a busy, busy lady. Thank you so much for sharing your love and your light and your joy. And I just have to comment on Mariana's painting back there. It's absolutely beautiful. It looks great.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? She took our Chandler's Academy class, and I don't know if you can see, there's light language all around here. This is our logo, and it's got a little split. I mean, everything is symbolic, but there's light language all over it, and there's light language written underneath here. So yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It is beautiful, as are you. And thank you. I love you. It's always a privilege and a joy to be in your presence. And I know everyone has been elevated by you being here today.
Thank you. Thank you. It is my honor and my pleasure.